Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello viewers, I am Muhammad Abdul Habib. Welcome you all to AIMS tutorial for accounts. In this video, I will be explaining a problem on how to calculate annual depreciation and how to prepare the asset account. That whatever the asset you are purchasing, how to prepare the asset account. Let us have a question. Let us have an example problem. On 1st April 2016, Abdul Habib Sahab and company purchased a machinery for rupees 1 lakh. Installation charges paid on machinery were rupees 20,000. And the useful life of the machinery was 10 years and its estimated scrap value was rupees 20,000. Calculate the amount of annual depreciation and prepare machinery account for first 3 years. तब यहाँ पे अब्दुल हबीब साहब एंड कंपनी क्या कर रहे हैं, एक मशीनरी खरीद रहे, 1 लाख में मशीनरी खरीद रहे. अब ये जो मशीन खरीद रहे इस पे इंस्टॉलेशन चार्जेस कितना पे कर रहे हैं, 20,000 पे कर रहे. The useful life of the machine was 10 years and the estimated scrap value that the asset is going to realize is rupees 20,000. Now we are supposed to calculate the amount of annual depreciation to be provided every year, and also we are required to prepare machinery account for first 3 years. So first let us solve the problem, and before solving the problem let us calculate the annual depreciation. What is the formula for calculating annual depreciation? Annual depreciation equals to cost of the asset plus installation charges minus scrap value divided by estimated useful life of the asset. Here is the formula. Annual depreciation equals to cost of the asset plus installation charges minus scrap value divided by estimated useful life of the asset. So what was the cost of the asset? Abdul Habib Saab and company machinery कितने में purchase करे, 1 लाख में purchase करे. Then the cost of the asset will be 1 lakh rupees plus installation charges. What were the installation charges paid by them? Installation charges paid were rupees 20,000. Installation charges paid on machinery were rupees 20,000. So substituting 20,000 on installation charges, cost of the asset 1 lakh plus installation charges 20,000 minus scrap value. What is the scrap value? Its estimated scrap value was rupees 20,000. So substituting 20,000 as scrap value, 1 lakh rupees cost of the asset plus 20,000 installation charges minus 20,000 scrap value divided by estimated useful life of the asset. The estimated useful life of the asset is given as 10 years. So 1 lakh divided by 10 years. 1 lakh plus 20,000, it becomes 1 lakh 20,000 minus scrap value 20,000 divided by 10 years. 1 lakh 20,000 minus 20,000, the value is 1 lakh divided by 10 years. 0, 0 gets cancelled, and the amount of annual depreciation that you are going to provide on the machinery every year is rupees 10,000 per annum. So this was the amount of annual depreciation. Now we are supposed to prepare the machinery account for first 3 years. So here is the format for the machinery account. Date, particulars, journal folio, amount, date, particulars, JF, amount. JF stands for journal folio. Here at the extreme left you will be writing it as DR debit, and on the extreme right you will be writing it as CR credit, and here you will be writing the name of the asset that you have purchased. So you have purchased machinery, then you will be preparing machinery account. The machine was purchased on 1st April 2016. So here the date of purchase will be recorded as 1st April 2016. So the Abdul Habib Saab and company has paid rupees 1 lakh for the purchase of machinery. Then it will be recorded as to bank account 1 lakh rupees. Then on the same day, it is assumed that the installation charges were paid on the same day. Again on 1st April 2016, they have paid installation charges of rupees 20,000. It will also be recorded as to bank account 20,000. Then this financial year will be ending on 31st March 2017. As it has started on 1st April 2016, this financial year will be ending on 31st March 2017. Now at the end of the first year, Abdul Habib Saab and company is required to provide depreciation on the machinery that they have purchased. The amount of depreciation which we have calculated is rupees 10,000 per annum. So every year Abdul Habib Saab and company will be reducing 10,000 from the value of the machinery, which will be written as by depreciation account 10,000. Now here the total is 1 lakh rupees which they have paid for purchasing the machinery and 20,000 which they have paid as installation charges. Then the total will be 1 lakh 20,000. Here the total of debit side is 1 lakh 20,000, whereas the total coming on credit side is only rupees 10,000. तो यहाँ पे इन दोनों में कौन सा टोटल ज़्यादा है? Here 1 lakh 20,000 is more. Here the total is 1 lakh 20,000 and here the total is only 10,000. So you are required to write 1 lakh 20,000 on both the sides of the machinery account. On debit side of the machinery account you will be writing it as 1 lakh 20,000, as well as on credit side of the machinery account you will be writing it as 1 lakh 20,000. Now what is depreciation? Decrease in the value of fixed assets. So when you decrease the value of machinery by 10,000, then the value of the machinery will become 1,10,000 at the end of the first year, which we will be writing it as 31st March 2017 by balance carried down 1,10,000. This will be brought down to immediate next day. The date after 31st March 2017 is 1st April 2017, which will be written as to balance brought down 1,10,000. When this financial year will be again ending on 31st March 2018, at the end of the second year, again Abdul Habib Saab and company is required to provide depreciation on machinery. Again they will be providing a depreciation of rupees 10,000. So again he will be writing it as 31st March 2018 by depreciation account 10,000. Then here the total is 1,10,000 and here the total is only 10,000. Hence you will be recording 1,10,000 on both the sides of the machinery account, on debit side as well as on credit side. तब यहाँ पे भी आप 1,10,000 लिखेंगे, यहाँ पे भी 1,10,000 लिखेंगे. Now when you subtract 10,000 from 1,10,000, then the value of the machinery at the end of the second year will be only for 1 lakh, which will be written as 31st March 2018 by balance carried down 1 lakh. The same value will be brought down to immediate next day. That is after 31st March 2018, the following date is 1st April 2018, which will be written as to balance brought down 1 lakh. This financial year will be ending on 31st March 2019. Again, Abdul Habib Saab and company is required to provide depreciation on the machinery at the end of the third year. Again, the amount of depreciation will be taken as rupees 10,000. So then the machinery value will again be reduced by rupees 10,000, which is written as on 31st March 2019 by depreciation account 10,000. Here the total is 1 lakh and here the total will be 10,000. Hence you will be writing 1 lakh on both the sides of the machinery account. 1 lakh will be written on debit side of the machinery account as well as 1 lakh will be written on credit side of the machinery account. Now subtracting 10,000 from 1 lakh, the value that is left out at the end of the third year is 90,000, which will be written as 31st March 2019 by balance carried down 90,000, which will be brought down to immediate next date, that is on 1st April 2009 to balance brought down 90,000. तो अब यहाँ पे ये जो मशीन खरीदे, कब खरीदे आप? The machine was purchased on 1st April 2016. तो यहाँ पे 2016 में जब आप मशीन खरीदे, 1 लाख में मशीन खरीदे, 20,000 इंस्टॉलेशन पे करे. ये जो financial year end हो रहा, always remember financial year starts on 1st April of one year and ends on 31st March of following year. तो अब एक साल में आप at the end of the first year you will be providing depreciation. Hence the value of the machinery gets reduced by 10,000 that we have calculated by applying the formula. Cost of the asset 1 lakh plus installation charges 20,000 minus scrap value 20,000 divided by useful life of the asset 10 years. 1 lakh plus 20,000, 1 lakh 20,000 minus scrap value 20,000 divided by 10. 1 lakh 20,000 minus 20,000, it works out to be 1 lakh divided by 10, 0, 0 gets cancelled. Then the annual depreciation that every year, the annual depreciation that is to be provided every year on the machinery is 10,000. तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, जो मशीन 1 लाख में खरीद रहे, 20,000 इंस्टॉलेशन पे कर रहे, हर साल उसमें से 10,000 कम करते हुए जा रहे हैं. तो यहाँ पे if someone asks you what was the value of the asset at the beginning of the first year, then the value of the asset at the beginning of the first year was 1,20,000. 1 lakh was paid to acquire the asset, 20,000 was made as an expenditure on installation charges. Then if someone asks you what is the amount of depreciation that has been provided on the machinery, then the amount of depreciation that has been provided on machinery was 10,000 and this will be provided at the end of the year. तब ये साल के शुरुआत में उसकी वैल्यू क्या थी? 1,20,000 थी. अब वो साल के एंड में उसकी वैल्यू कितनी कम हो रही? 10,000 कम हो रही. Then the value is being reduced by 10,000. Then what will be the value of the asset at the end of the first year? Then the value of the asset at the end of the first year will be only 1,10,000. Then the closing value of first year will become the opening value of second year, जिसको आप यहाँ पे to balance brought down बोल के second year में लिखे थे. फिर ये जो second year है ये कब खत्म होता? 31st March 2018. So again at the end of the second year you are supposed to provide depreciation. Again rupees 10,000 will be subtracted from 1,10,000. Then if someone asks you what was the value of the asset at the beginning of the second year, then the value of the machinery at the beginning of the second year was 1,10,000. Then what is the amount of depreciation that you are going to provide at the end of the second year? Then the amount of depreciation will be rupees 10,000. Then what is the value of the asset at the end of the second year? Then the value of the asset at the end of the second year will become 1 lakh. तो जब आप दूसरे साल में भी 10,000 depreciation provide करेंगे तो 1,10,000 में से जब 10,000 subtract हो जाएंगे तो आपको क्या पैसे बच रहे? 1 लाख बच रहे. Then second year closing balance will be third year opening balance. So the date will be 1st April 2018 to balance brought on 1 lakh. Again, this financial year will be ending on 31st March 2019. Again, you are supposed to provide depreciation of rupees 10,000. If someone asks you what is the value of the machinery at the beginning of the third year, then the value of the machinery at the beginning of the third year is rupees 1 lakh. And what is the amount of depreciation that you are providing on the machinery? Then the amount of depreciation that we are going to provide at the end of the third year is 10,000. Now subtracting 10,000 from 1 lakh. If someone asks you what is the value of the asset at the end of the third year, then the value of the machinery at the end of the third year is 90,000. Then this will be brought down to next year. Now we were asked to prepare the machinery account for first 3 years. 3 साल के लिए machinery account prepare करना था. तो अब यहाँ पे dates compare करिए आप. 1st April 2016 to 31st March 2017, 1 year completed. Next from 1st April 2017 to 31st March 2018, 2 years are completed. Next from 1st April 2018 to 31st March 2019, 3 years are completed. So we were supposed to prepare machinery account for first 3 years. तो सिर्फ 4th year उसकी value brought down करके अब problem रुक देंगे. Hope you have understood the topic and hope you have liked my video. If you like my video, do subscribe to my channel AIMS Tutorial for Accounts. And if you are a new subscriber to my channel, don't forget to press the bell icon for further notifications. Do like my video, post your valuable comments, and do share it with your friends, relatives and all. Your one share can help someone to learn something. See you all in next video. Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.